shine, and the living so easy. The fish are jumping and the cotton it's so high. Your daddy's rich, your mama good looking. So hush, your little baby, ain't no need for you to cry. Mornings, gonna sing. You spread your wings, you're gonna take it to the sky. Until that morning, you got your mammy, got your pappy too. Such a little baby, no need for you to cry. Gonna get up and rise up singing. Spread your wings, you're gonna take it to the sky. But until that morning, you got your mammy, got your pappy too. Such a little baby, ain't no need for you to cry. Summertime and the living so easy. The fish are jumping and the cotton it's so high. Your daddy's rich, mama good looking. So hush, little baby, ain't no need for you to cry. Don't you cry, me oh my.
I'm doing this on the fly. Wow, it worked. Man, I can't see myself, though. Hold on. Go ahead, Canuck. I got to do some lighting issues here.
Hey, I tell you what. Yay, I see me. All right, Canuck and Yankee show after almost 4 without you folks. You folks without us. We decided that we'd stream today, Sunday, July something or other, 2022.
Yeah. It's a little bit better.
You look like...
But I like it. I look a little spooky, but I like it. I had to talk to Google.
Yeah, you look like one of them cyber hackers, man. You need the skull mask, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got to get one of those.
Yeah, you really should. You definitely need one when you go into the metaverse on your exploratory.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. I'm going in. I'm going in feet first into the metaverse. I'm looking for friends to help me and join me, diving in feet first into the metaverse. So let me know. Let me know.
I would join you, but I've already got a job description, and I have to stay back in the verse so that you have somebody to stream to. So
right, no, you got to be there. Pull me back in if that even is possible. I might not come back.
Yeah, because if Yankee, if the two of us go into the metaverse at the same time, they could take us both down. You know, we could be like an athlete trying to travel through Russia. I mean, we'd just be incarcerated in the metaverse, man. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So we got some juicy stuff. A lot of stuff from my neighborhood this week. Got old growth forest update. We covered that extensively, I think, on our last show. And we got another thing, Vancouver, British Columbia, which we've been covering a lot. I even did some underground video at a homeless park. And now they've given up on the parks and they've moved basically onto the street. And the camps are now on
Wait, on the street? Like sidewalk, but not in the street where the cars are? Really?
No, like on the sidewalk. They've taken over the sidewalks of Hastings Street in front of the businesses and everything. And the homeless camp is now on Hastings Street. That's close to public transit. I mean, it's convenient. And then the final local story is really cool, and it's being covered across Canada. Might even make Al Jazeera, I doubt it. But half our police force here in our local city of Nelson, British Columbia, and the police force was formed in the late 1800s when Nelson was the biggest city in Western Canada, the third biggest city behind Victoria and Vancouver, all the way to Winnipeg, Manitoba. We were the biggest city. Well, we'll give you the updates. But anyway, almost half the police force is under investigation. So that's kind of got people.
Yeah, like a social media posts, WhatsApp. I guess they were in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, well, in a nutshell,
it
turns out that as my environmentalist activist friend Tom Pryor, who we talked about on past shows, said on CTV Global. Global TV, sorry. He says, well, everybody's knowing that 6 of the cops are racists and the other 6 are normal. I mean, there's more of them now, but it's been endemic in the Nelson Police Department probably from the beginning, and they'd still be getting away with it, but they went and created this.
Well, this is a common theme that happens a lot. The police departments, what have you, but it also goes back to a show we want to put together, right? Like the show, basically, famous people doing, really
stupid things.
It reminds me of that.
Well, that's the trouble with it. It's similar, but the problem is that endemic or systemic racism, whatever you want to call it, it's extremely prevalent in police departments all over North America,
Yeah.
and it's generally not. Um, Nobody really makes a big deal of it because it's there, and I'm sure it's really there in your sheriff's departments, United States sheriff's departments, countywide. There's so many of them, and it's elected a position. So obviously, there's all kinds of deals being made. But I know, like up in Lake County, Montana, um, there's basically cops. There's the Nations, Indigenous people, Indians, whatever you want to call them, and then there's the white people, and they're definitely not treated exactly the same. But and also, I would imagine it might go farther than other branches of government. But the thing is, here in Nelson has one of the smallest city municipal police forces. Most places in Canada contracted out to the RCMP, but Nelson had his own police force from the beginning and still does. And generally the community's quite proud of them, but they've somewhat lost touch with the community more than they used to be. They don't interact with the community as much. They become more of their own
Well, yeah,
closed circle.
that's the main thing that the policing needs to be community based.
Yeah. Well, back in the
need to get
day,
back
like
to that.
say the 80s, the 1980s, um, like there was one cop in particular. His name was Warren, and he wandered around in and out of all the bars, and he knew everybody and chatted everybody up, and a couple of the other guys, Patty Severin, a few of the guys. I mean, they were out and about. They were part of the social network, uh, social scene. But now you very rarely see any of the officers mingling with the community. Of course, there's mingling ain't this. It's less mingling. I just got back from Montana. I've been gone for 2.5 years, but I actually went to the United States, and that was one of the things I noticed in particular. Um, the public social interaction, the mingling, whatever you want to call it, is way less, and it's getting less and less and less. People are more enclaved. It's partly COVID. It's partly paranoia. Uh, violence, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and probably economic too, because people have less disposable income to spend on social things. But in general, um, I went to Charlie's, the bar. I think we covered it, the old bar that's in Missoula. I think we streamed from there or something.
We streamed from the
Anyway,
music shop. That's what I remember more than anything.
yeah, that's right. Oh, that was from here. But oh, but even Charlie's, I didn't really know anybody. I mean, one guy I recognized. Of course, I've been gone for a long time. I lived there for 10 years. Visited mostly. So yeah, that's the deal. That's the main stories
Well,
from
we're
here
gonna
anyway.
check in with chat. We got any word with the pirate flag?
Nice.
That's pirate crypto at the anonymity coin. He said, I just realized some of the drinks and food I've used have human fetal tissue in them. Quite an
Oh
extensive
God,
list. Like Perrier
dude.
water, Naked, Adwala juice, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, Starbucks, Gatorade. It's a scary world out there, people.
I only drink beer from Eastern Europe. Now, hopefully, it's okay. You know, and I got my own water, so yeah. Nice to see you. Any word? Sorry, I've been gone so long. I've been really busy, gigging all over the place, and things are going good there. Um, we played a clip of me. Maybe we'll play it at the end too for those that missed it.
So
So where do you want to
we're gonna
start?
start with the Rogers outage, right? I don't know if
Yeah,
Nojo's
that's
in the
pretty good.
chat. Nojo here on D
Internet related
Live,
story.
and I'm also spending a lot of time on his Discord. He says he's been having a lot of issues. He's in
Mm.
somewhere in the Toronto area or something like that.
Oh, okay. It's really affected a lot of people. Fortunately, I think my system is based through a company called Shaw, SHAW. Um, and Shaw and Rogers want to merge. And I think the theme of this story is that because Rogers is so huge, when they go down. I mean, there's been no debit. None of the stores are anybody can take debit. Debit's completely down around here. Um, like I say, I'm not linked to
Well, I
Rogers
heard online, somebody
internet,
was
but
saying online related to this, I was checking out some articles, that they don't need a network connection for credit cards. How does that work? I thought you need like if you go and use your credit card, don't they always have to connect to the network and say, look, you're depositing, or this is what, it's a $55 charge, and don't you have to have network access?
I think maybe they have their own proprietary system, but that's a good question. But yeah, the debit was down because of Rogers, but they could take credit cards.
Well, maybe
And
maybe
my
credit
favorite,
cards have some kind of system that stores it. You don't need network at that time, and then it
it could
sends it
be.
out.
As a matter of fact,
Queues
I
it.
think you're right because it seems to me when I was in retail, we submitted everything at the end of the day to Visa, MasterCard, or whoever was handling our credit card things. It wasn't, although the credit card was verified at the point of purchase. So that's a good question.
Yeah, it sounds like I want to take a look at that. So it sounds like there's something in
Yeah,
place for credit card companies.
must
But
be.
let's get
Maybe they got
the
their own closed system.
article loaded up that the Canuck has here, and
I just found that this morning.
let me check.
But I think
All
it's
right,
a day
so
old.
this should work. There we go. So I've got the show notes. I put it in the chat. It's up there on variant-news.com. It's in the latest posts. We got all the links for this show, this impromptu show, on here, so you can check all of them out. I'm going to load up the Rogers article. This is from BNN Bloomberg. I'm not going to do the video just yet, but bnnbloomberg.ca. I actually listen to a lot of Bloomberg News on my Alexa because I have nothing better to do. I actually like Bloomberg News. I mean, it's obviously, kind of status quo financial news, but I kind of like it. I have to admit. I kind of like it. But
yeah, they're obviously a really good business.
I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, they just, they don't, it's just they stick to financial for the most part.
Yeah.
They don't get too crazy. Bringing in other weird things.
Well, they're not. They tend to not be super opinionated. A Wall Street Journal fell into that trap. I think, but I'm not sure.
So from the article, just do a little bit of widespread Rogers Communication Inc. outage that caused trouble for 911 services. Retailers and transit operators Friday had many warning. The incident is a sign that monopolistic telecommunication companies need more competition. Yeah, this is a serious problem. The outage, continuing with the article, the outage is illuminating the general lack of competition in telecommunications in Canada, said Vas Bednar, Executive Director of McMaster University's Master of Public Policy program. The country's telecom sector is dominated by three large carriers, Rogers, BCE Inc., and TELUS Corp., and the industry has long been a concern of academics who have called for regulators to increase competition for mobile internet services in Canada. I just want to briefly mention, I've been wanting to get into Starlink, so I don't know if anybody's anybody that's interested in doing that in Canada. I'd really be interested in following that, even help support it.
I'm interested.
Because I want to know what the process is. And Amazon has a competing service. I forget the name of it. It has a silly name, like a project name. But they're going to come with a competing service to Starlink. So that should be good. So at least you'll have more choices and competition, hopefully, in Canada. But Starlink, it's like if you buy the
Starlink
hardware.
RV.
There is a Starlink RV now that you're aware of?
Yeah.
That you can move around with.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a $500 entry to get the gear, and then about $120 a month or something like that. And they're still working on the coverage. But when I did the Spokane City Spokane City Hotel grand opening, I couldn't stream to you because the establishment wouldn't give me the Wi-Fi code for them because they already had too many people on it. And the streaming guys, they had their own independent system. They created an independent feed off of Telus, I think it was. So I was stuck. I had no internet. I was like, what the? So Starlink would be really cool.
I'm going to put the starlink.com/RV link in the chat for anybody that's interested. So I wasn't aware of this. I didn't realize they have already an RV Starlink. Yeah. So that's really good.
It just came online.
It's a bit expensive, but
two weeks ago. Well,
they're saying $135 a month. It's a bit expensive, but
I'm paying $90 a month right now for my hardware connection.
Yeah, I'm paying $80 right now, and I'm looking at maybe, because Spectrum is the provider, they're saying you can get $50 business, but I don't know if that just lasts for a year. But I'm going to take a look into that. Try to get the cost down.
Obviously, you got a lot more. You got a lot more competition down there, which is the theme of this story. Here in Canada, we have very limited options.
Well, where I'm at, like when I was in New York City, there's definitely more providers in most places in the U.S., but like where I'm at, it's pretty much Spectrum, but there might be one other provider that's reliable that you can get, but I'm thinking by next year I'm hoping that I can keep Spectrum and Spectrum works, and then have Starlink as a backup, and then figure out how to couple both those into my system, and like if one goes out, the other one kicks in, kind of thing.
That might be good. I want to get Starlink because I'm hoping to go 24/7 with the Nature Channel later this year. But when the power goes out here, everything goes out. I lose the internet, and I've got backup power systems. That's not a problem. So I'm hoping that Starlink should keep working with. Even when because like I say, when we lose power, we lose internet too. So it doesn't. I can fire up the generator, but I'm still cut off. So from the business standpoint, I've been looking at the uploads and download speeds, and they're actually quite decent. But the trouble is, there is intermittent drops in the feed sometimes in your connectivity.
Yeah,
I understand. But it's not a perfect world. But to have that independence, especially if I could travel with the darn thing,
well, yeah,
that's worth it, and it's tax deductible, So,
well, it remains to be seen. From what I've read, Musk is trying to do 7,500 satellites, but I'm not sure where he's at. I don't know if he only has about 2,000 of those satellites in the low orbit. They put him in some kind of low orbit. But it definitely sounds like he's not there yet. He's not at the 7,500 mark. So maybe if he gets closer to that, maybe the reliability and the strength of the signal will get better. Have to see, but we should move on. Go ahead, finish up.
Oh no, he's the guy to do it because he owns SpaceX. So I mean, he's flying his own rocket up there, bozos with Amazon. Like, give me a break. Okay, what's next on our?
Well, we should. What do you think? Do you think old growth? The secret's out. There's that video, and there's also the forest fight
thing. Yeah, I mean, this is an ongoing battle, and take into consideration that the area that we're talking about here is the area I lived in for almost over half a century. And it is one of the only, perhaps the only, inland temperate rainforest. Okay? Like we got trees here that you only find on coastal rainforests because there isn't any other rainforests that are this deep in the land. And they're cutting all our friggin' trees down. And as usual with resource extraction, very few people that are local get any benefit out of this. But yeah, you want to roll the video or do the article?
Let's start with the video first, and then we'll do the article.
Yeah, let's do the video. It's always fun.
Make sure this loads right. I'm going to subscribe to this channel. Yeah, it's 1 minute 31. We'll just do the whole thing.
Yeah, it's worth
Old growth logging. Here's what they don't want you to know. If you can believe it, only 2.7% of productive old growth forests are still standing. John Horgan and the provincial government promised to preserve what remains. Instead, old growth is being slashed. It's happening all across our province, like in the inland temperate rainforest. We need to save this globally unique ecosystem. Old growth trees are crucial to our fight against the climate crisis. They cool the earth, provide fresh water, store vast amounts of carbon, and actively prevent wildfires, while clear-cutting only leaves a shameful scar on the landscape. Canada's forgotten rainforest is home to thousands of species, a safe harbor in an increasingly unstable ecosystem. With each log tree, we push endangered species closer to extinction. Our natural protectors are disappearing every day. In the time it took to watch this video, enough old-growth forest to span a hockey rink has been lost forever. The secret's out. Sign the petition to end old-growth logging in BC's inland temperate rainforest.
So there it is. That's the short video from Wild Sight, all one word, on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It sounded like the audio was doubling, but it's a good video, and it points out in it the forgotten creatures that have lived here like forever, which we're talking about everything but humans. This is their habitat. We're losing the caribou. We're losing all kinds of stuff. And like I say, the pity is that this doesn't seem to be anything we can do about it. If you want to go to the article, it's very local. The article.
Yeah, I just want to go real quick to chat, just anywhere. This is in relation to Starlink and all that stuff. He said it's balloons, not satellites, so the signal's being bounced off the firmament. So that's another aspect of trying to get the signal out there for stuff like Starlink. And anywhere it says NASA uses the most helium in the world for its high-altitude balloons.
I hadn't heard about the balloons. Thanks, anyway.
We are going to load up. We're going to do the forest fight in West Kootenay, right?
Yeah, that is in Argenta, which is, I live on Kootenay Lake, and it's about 40 miles up Kootenay Lake from me, the area we're talking about. You'll have to read the article.
So this is from the tyee.ca, the T.
Yeah, it's
.ca.
Yeah, they're kind of an environmentally activist media outlet here in Canada.
And inside the struggle over logging, Argenta Johnson's landing face in southeastern BC. This picture here, this arrest blockade and others attempted to prevent logging of an island of unprotected forest at the north end of Kootenay Lake. After spending the weeks at the soggy blockade, 17-year-old Miguel was back at his parents' place in Nelson nursing a cold. He'd missed about a month of high school to help protect Argenta Johnson's landing face, an intact stretch of forest in southeastern BC, from logging. The early days were easy. Locals from the tiny town of Argenta provided food and morale. Once, said Miguel, a legendary vat of spaghetti arrived at the perfect time following a long night keeping watch. Forest protectors had been on site since April 24th in an effort to prevent the area from being logged by timber company Cooper Creek Cedar Limited. Is this, I'm trying to think if this is the island, can we pull this up on a map just so I can...
Oh, well, southeastern British Columbia, it's the Vancouver Island thing was Fairy Creek. That's like 500 miles away on the coast. If you type in Nelson, BC,
I want to do. I might as well do. Just do Google Maps. I don't want a static map.
Kootenay Lake is good.
I don't know why is this not loading? BC, Canada.
For those of you that are in America that probably have no idea where anything is in Canada, we're north of Idaho. How's that?
Wait a minute, so this is near Nelson, so we're talking...
Yeah.
There's Vernon, somewhere around here, right?
No, it's east of Vernon. Keep going.
There's Kamloops.
Keep going. We're farther east. We're down in the corner.
New Denver.
Oh, there's a big lake. There it is off in the right side of the thing. Oh, now you're getting close. See that big lake? It's a big friggin' lake. There it is. Now zoom in on the big lake. Come on, you can do it.
Wait a minute. I want to... What's the name of the...
Nelson. Or type in Caslo. Kaslo or something. I don't know.
Or type in Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson's good. Nelson's the town, the big city.
Bang.
Well, it used to be a big city.
So the lake is where?
It's that blue thing. Oh, that's where I live. That's the west arm of Kootenai Lake. Oh, groovy.
So it's right.
Up.
You got to go up?
Yeah, keep going up the river. Oh, yeah, you see? Yeah, now you're just about to the lake. Boy, that's right where I live, man. You're nailing it.
There's Mirror Lake all the way up there.
Yeah, no, that's a little lake. Now keep going. See that big blue thing you're going up? That's Kootenai Lake. And if you go up to where there ain't no more lake, that's where we're talking about the logging. So just keep going north, young man.
Keep going north? I'm all the way up Cooper Creek.
Yeah, I know. That's Cooper Creek logging, dude. Keep going. There you go. That's the top of the lake.
Where, Marblehead?
They're logging.
Interesting.
Yeah, to the right, to the east. Oh, that's another lake. That's Duncan Lake.
So I'm continuing the article. The Argenta Johnson's landing face is an island of unprotected forest at the north end of Kootenai Lake, surrounded on three sides by the largest intact ecosystem in southern British Columbia. Purcell Wilderness Conservancy Provincial Park. The face provides a transportation highway for animals, providing critical low elevation, intact habitat where little remains. The Argenta Slope was the area we missed, said Rick Careless, co-founder of the Sierra Club BC and executive director of BC Spaces for Nature, who first proposed protecting the Purcell Conservancy back in the 1970s while working for the BC NDP government. There's the legacy of people that have been fighting for so long to protect this place. They know this place is special. Over the decades, forest tenure changed hands a few times, but most of the face remained unlogged until now. Today, Cooper Creek Cedar is logging 5 cut blocks totaling 159 hectares on the face, but it also plans to build a network of roads, opening up a new, previously inaccessible region to logging. In turn, the long fight to include the face in the Purcell Conservancy area has been reinvigorated. The region is part of the traditional territory of the Canuck Nation. The Canuck, including the Yakwan, Iki or Lower Kootenai Band, as well as the Okanagan and the Secwepik First Nations.
Yep.
And this is the map, small map here of the Argenta Johnson's Landing. So I just want to compare it to this. Zoom out to
how far it is. As a side note, I'm back in touch with the Canucks elder that we had a video of. It's on YouTube. So we're going to be having Richard, the guy who went to the Supreme Court of Canada and got his tribe reestablished his identity, which because the Canadian government had thrown them, they disenfranchised them. The Canucks were disenfranchised. They didn't exist. They still existed in the United States, but they didn't exist in Canada. So that'll be an upcoming show covering more Indigenous type of things. I think that wraps it up as far as the old growth updates. Obviously, we're in a very active forest. We're in a very active forest logging, and our forests are quite... I have trees on my property that are over 300 feet, spruce. So Yeah, we can grow some darn big trees here. And the trees do not want to be cut down. And all they do is make boards out of them. They just chop them all
I
up.
just don't get it. Why do they? This has been going on for many, many decades. Even back in the last century. I mean, it's
in that video, the first video, they've said we're down to 2.3% of our productive old growth forest, which I believe. And I mean, there's different statistics. Some people say we're down to 18%. Some people say we've got plenty of it. But the fact of the matter is there ain't much. And it's a waste to cut it down. It's really selfish. I mean, it's living for the now and it's living for some corporate profit motive now. And a few guys get jobs driving trucks around and endangering their lives. So there you go. I'm going to get all emotional now. I'm going to boom. Okay.
We do have. So
I didn't mean
have,
it. That's not a threat.
I think it's time for Bill C-11.
Yeah, tell me about that because I have been too busy to really follow.
I have a video, but we'll do an intro, I guess. Here, my understanding is there was a Bill C-10, but it was not as extreme as what we have now for you guys in Canada with this C-11. But it's centered around CanCon. Have you ever heard of CanCon? It's been around, I think, since 70s or 80s.
Canadian content. All right, here you go. Boom, boom, boom. Canadian content. I worked in radio here in Canada, and we are required to play 35% what they call CanCon, Canadian content. In other words, it was written by a Canadian or performed by a Canadian or produced by a Canadian or something like that. And that's a law, and it's a part of the licensing agreement. So I think this has to do with protecting Canadian copyright use on the internet or something.
Right, but the issue that I'm seeing is, this really affects independent streamers. So, it seems like they're trying to be all-encompassing, anybody on the internet, and then obviously, especially the big guys like SnoozeTube. I mean, YouTube, and the others, all the big streaming platforms. Obviously, YouTube, the big one, but. So if this C-11 passes, then YouTube's going to have to work with the Canadian government, and they're going to have to, it's my understanding, they're going to have to, create some algorithm specifically for people that live in Canada, and that the whole CanCon content idea that you discussed, that's all going to have to be part of YouTube's algorithm. It just logistically sounds like a complete nightmare, and it's not just YouTube, it's anything.
Yeah.
That's online, radio, TV, and online.
I mean, the thing with the CRTC, Canadian Radio and Television Commission, or whatever it is, and radio, it's really helped because before they had that, the radio stations were just playing very little Canadian content. Now, that's reasonably simple because it's a licensed public radio station, and that's precious. And they're trying to take that mentality into the internet. Like you said, it's going to be rather difficult, Yeah, well, that's fascinating.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a bit taken aback by it. It also goes back to what we've covered in the past, like with cryptocurrencies. It's my impression that Canada's going to come out with a CBDC, and then the U.S. feds are going to look, how well did they deal with it, and then they're going to try to, obviously come out with their own. So, and I'm seeing, a similar thing with this Bill C-11. If it does pass, U.S. politicians are then going to look at it and say, we should be doing something like this. There's definitely going to be some kind of subset of politicians that are going to bring it up, but. Who knows? I've got a video from this guy. We're going to do a little bit of it. But I believe he's in British Columbia. And he's trying to organize other YouTubers and streamers to discuss Bill C-11 because it's a bit of an overreach, I would have to say.
Okay, I'm going to monitor. Sorry, I'm going to monitor the. Last time we had some.
Just going to check out the chat real quick. Anywhere it says, I've been hearing lately XRP is going to go up. I hate XRP. I don't know. It's just a quick crypto update here. XRP, it's like the bankers. It's like it was built from the ground up to be fast, efficient, scalable, and there's a real chance that it could get adopted as a CBDC. But I'm actually looking at obtaining more XRP here in the U.S., and I'll have that with my during the week streams on how to do that if you're in the U.S. and you're looking to get more XRP. We've got Sour D in the chat. He says, "Hey y'all."
Hey, Sour D.
So I'm gonna.
Missed you, buddy.
I am going to load up something here. I have to see. I have to check on something quick.
Yeah. Check the audio feed because we had a double audio feed for some reason. But that might
I don't know. I didn't. It was really loud. I don't think it was doubled.
Was it? Yeah, it was
sometimes
doubled.
You get really hard normalization on some of YouTube videos.
Could be. I don't friggin' know. I'm just a musician. I'm not supposed to know anything about this stuff.
Yeah. Well, Bill C-11 is here. I'm going to get the video loaded up. This is a long video, but I think I've played this one before. I have to remember. If I remember correctly, he had a pretty good intro that he kind of like goes through the... Yeah, right here. I want to go through this a little bit. So he discusses... So he's a streamer in British Columbia talking about Bill C-11. He does some basics about, how they create laws in Canada. I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to get that. So we're going to lead into that, and then we'll do a little bit of where he went and then was invited to Ottawa to speak in a hearing, I think in the House of Commons. So I'm going to do a little bit of that, too, after this.
Legislative process works, so you perhaps understand a bit more clearly.
What's that, Canuck?
I'm even hearing delay on your feed for some reason. On D-Live, anyway. Anybody else getting that out there? Any word? You getting audio okay?
Let me double check.
Oh, now it's okay.
I'm muted. I'm muted. I don't...
Now it sounds okay.
Yeah.
It was when you had the video up.
All right. Let me... LB browser... LB signal.
Now.
All right. Well, I have to start the video, so let me know if there's something issue with the audio on the YouTube.
Why I'm here, doing what I'm about to do. So this fancy building is, of course, the Canadian Parliament, and all Canadian laws start here in the House of Commons. So the Prime Minister's Cabinet introduces a bill to the Parliament in what is called the first reading. If the Parliament votes to proceed, that bill is then sent to a committee where it can be debated in detail by a smaller group of politicians and likely amended several times before being sent back to the full Parliament for a final up or down vote. And during the committee process, the members can solicit the expert testimony of witnesses who may have unique insights into the particular flaws or virtues of the bill. Since the Government of Canada does a lot of stuff these days, there are a lot of different committees, and they're all very specialized. Bill C-11 involves internet regulation, so it was sent to the Committee on Canadian Heritage, which generally discusses bills relating to the media. Now, who gets to sit on a committee, you ask? Well, they're comprised of members of Parliament in approximate proportion to their standing in the elected part of the Parliament, the House of Commons. So the Heritage Committee has 12 members, 6 Liberals, 4 Conservatives, and 2 from the other parties. The witness...
So this is the basics of it. But I also wanted to bring up something. Does Canada have something similar to NPR in the U.S.? I guess that's a Canuck if you're on it. Are you? I hear something. Are you monitoring the stream right now?
I'm getting all kinds of delay. I'm getting a lot of delay.
Well, they say Saturday says the audio is good. But any word says that your mic is a little low.
Yeah, it's because I'm not talking to. Well, as long as the feed's good, thanks anywhere, because Maybe it's Rogers or something. But I'm getting double audio. I'm going to try getting out of these. I'm going to re-go these things.
Yeah,
Sorry, but that's good.
There may be something playing. You're not seeing it. An additional player of the stream somewhere, maybe on the browser.
Oh yeah, that could be it.
But if there's anybody in the chat or the Canuck, is there something similar to NPR in Canada? There is, isn't there? This is coming some kind of
CBC, but they are government subsidized, directly government subsidized. Canadian Broadcasting.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Subsidized by the government. It's communication channel or whatever that's subsidized by the government. Why can't they just
CBC Radio is commercial free. It's broadcast FM pretty much everywhere in Canada, including little villages in the north. CBC Television is more commercial. They have Hockey Night in Canada.
Why can't they just, with this bill, just keep it to government supported channels and not?
Well, I think it goes to the whole issue of copyright and copyright use. And if I may play the devil's advocate a little bit as a musician, our intellectual property is pretty much the only thing that we have. Maybe a couple guitar amps or something. But so, I mean, that's the deal. And plus, you have to also understand that Canadian culture, it's a bit sensitive to being completely overpowered by the big, huge entertainment culture to the south of us, United States of America, because it's so huge. So I think it's like so many things. I think the intentions are good, but I'm not sure about the execution might not be so good.
Right. So I'm just going to do a little bit of when he goes to, I believe, the House of Commons. Yeah. And he speaks for a little bit. So I'm just going to find that and do some of that.
But industry retains its value.
And then the Conservatives asked softballs to me that got me to harshly criticize a bill that they were already opposed to. When we hear some of this rhetoric, I do think it disturbs some people. When we hear stuff about how we have to protect ourselves from foreign domination and we have to maintain our cultural sovereignty, the idea that, Canadian culture is this fragile thing that the evil foreigners are going to corrupt and sort of erode us. That to me is the kind of rhetoric you associate with Viktor Orban's Hungary or something, right? And I don't think that a progressive democratic country like Canada wants to set the roadmap to regulating the internet that can then be adopted by the Viktor Orbans of the world. Because what's to prevent an authoritarian government from sort of saying well, we want to protect our cultural sovereignty too, and that's why we need to regulate YouTube and make sure that only good patriotic, content is seen, and we'll, play around with the algorithm to ensure that only the sort of patriotic content that we believe our people should see will get boosted in their feeds and their subscriber counts and all that kind of stuff. This is a real sort of old-fashioned way of thinking about Canada and thinking about Canadian culture that I personally do not have a lot of time for, and I think is increasingly just a very dated sort of premise of thinking about culture that most YouTubers just do not conceptualize in the same way. They don't think I'm making content in order to preserve some fragile idea of Canadian sovereignty. They think I'm making a cooking video, I'm making a fitness tutorial, I'm making a DIY video. I make videos that are about specifically Canadian stuff, but there's tons of Canadian YouTubers who have been successful by just making the kind of content that they think there's an audience for. Sometimes that audience.
So that's the basics of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's just logistically, it's a complete nightmare, and it just would create, so much more bureaucracy and give them so much power. And people can search on YouTube. It's obviously it came from Google. Google's very good at search, and you can easily search for Canadian content if that's what you're looking for.
Well, yeah, and like I say, it comes back down to money, the use of Canadian content to make money. And I think the same situation's happening in Australia, isn't it? Where they said if you're going to use it, you got to pay for it or something like that more. I mean, the companies also. I'm going to research this more, obviously, but I think it's.
I think it comes down. A lot of these governments, they see how powerful especially companies like Google have become. Apple not so much. Google with just looking at YouTube, but also YouTube and search. Google dominates so prevalently worldwide, and a lot of these companies have governments have issues with that. They want it. They want to have control in their countries of that content, but it just becomes a pretty messy situation.
Well, obviously, and the problem is that these people that are making the laws are reasonably clueless about what the internet really is and how it's used. So they go to, their experts or whatever, and then who knows what they're getting for information.
So we have, what else we have here? We did growth. We did the Rogers internet outage, which was mainly in the Ontario area, from my understanding. We did the forest fight in West Kootenay. Bill C-11. I guess we'll just do quick. The former Japanese Prime Minister.
I think the article. There's an article. We probably should revisit the Nelson police thing. There is a.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Sorry, I forgot about that. Let's get that loaded up.
That's okay.
So this is, and we'll do the video on this too, right? But so basically,
the video's a little bit. I now got an update from the video after you played the video. A little bit more information that has come in recently.
All right. Well, let me get this loaded up. Get it unmuted. Yeah, but this 1 minute 13 seconds. We're going to do the whole kit and caboodle right here.
Might as well.
It's the focus of an investigation, which was ordered by the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner. Approximately 20 officers work there, and the investigation involves about half of the department. The OPCC won't confirm details of the investigation, including whether the allegations may be racism-related and involve use of police computers. Members of the Vancouver Police Department are conducting the investigation. Nelson Mayor John Dooley, who is chair of the police board, told Global News, "The report is not complete and it is still under investigation," adding, "We can't comment at this time." He declined an on-camera interview. The Nelson Police Department has not responded to a request for comment. Public Safety Minister Mike Farnworth declined to comment. About 10,000 people live in Nelson. Many of them will surely have questions now as to why about half of their police department is now under investigation. Catherine Urquhart, Global News.
All right, so yet another video from globalnews.ca, but
yep. And I saw an article. I couldn't find the link, but there was an article that came out the next day, and it turns out I was saying at the top of the show, it's an issue that's apparently been in the police force for a long time, but it's gotten worse, and it has to do with racism. And as the environmentalist activist friend of mine, Tom Pryor, eloquently put on CTV News, he says, well, everybody knows that 6 of the cops are racist and 6 are normal. Well, it's a few more than that, but these guys apparently started a chat room, and I think you said it might have been a WhatsApp. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's quite possible. So anyway, they got found out, and so that goes to show you people, like, you can say whatever you want to your friends in private, but you start putting stuff on social media, and it gets noticed. So, a long story short, these guys are under investigation, close to half the police force, and some retired police officers. So we'll keep you updated. I mean, they're not releasing any details except the little snippets. The mayor is kind of in not a good position because he is actually not only the mayor of Nelson, but when you're the mayor of Nelson, you're also head of the police board. So the question always is like, well, didn't you know about this, Mr. Mayor Dooley? And he's actually a big fan of mine. I'm not going to ask him about it. Hey, nice to see you. So what the fuck is with the cops anyway? He doesn't need that. he's just trying to have a drink.
Or I think there's plenty. I think there's plenty of other people that are asking him the same thing.
Oh, by the way, if anybody out there actually lives in the Kootenays, I will be performing tonight at the Library Lounge in the historic Hume Hotel. The Hume Hotel was built in 1898, when once again Nelson was the third biggest city in Western Canada.
Well, I know that off the cuff news here on D Live. I was playing some of your footage from was it the Sloan? What was the name of it? Slocan Hotel.
Slocan City.
Slocan City Hotel, and he had asked for the link to the hotel, so I sent that to him. I'm not sure. Nice. He may be in the area, so if he's in the chat and you're interested, the Canuck here is going to be forming soon.
Gene Greenwood, who usually worked with Metallica and such groups, came up with a crew of 5, about $100,000 worth of streaming gear, 4 digital mixers, audio mixers. Oh my God! And they stream for 5 hours on the Friday and close to 10 hours on the Saturday.
Wait a minute, they stream every week, Friday and Saturday?
Never gonna happen again that way, dude. These guys came up from Vancouver.
That'd be awesome if they did it.
Slocan City has a population of about 185 people, or maybe 300 at the most. No, this was a one-off. We had Big Boss Kenny Wayne on the keyboards, man. The best act I thought was this guy, Henry Brown, H.B. Wild. He's Jimi Hendrix's second cousin, and he was really, really good. And if you're watching the D Live thing, if you go to Saturday and go all the way to the end and watch the last band, that's worth it. And if you're really bored, you can watch earlier in the day, and I play twice.
Do you have the link? You're talking about the YouTube link. If you have it handy, let me know. I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, see, I can get it for you.
But we've got one more story, main story, real quick. Abiy, trying to pronounce his name right. Abiy, Japanese, the ex-prime minister. Abba.
No.
But no, unfortunately, he has been assassinated. But I wanted to go over an article real quick about that. So you know what? I'm actually going to load that up and just let me know, Canuck, if you find a link.
I'm working on it.
If you do find it, email it to me, and that's the quickest way for me to get it into the chat. But I'm gonna just through this story here. The assassination of Abe Shinzo. I apologize for the pronunciation. But spent his last days advocating for defending Taiwan from a belligerent China. This is from Breitbart.com. But this gives an interesting current little history, and actually long history. I mean, Shinzo was prime minister for quite some time. He actually, he was working with Russia. There's a disputed island, I believe, in the northern area of Japan. He was working with Russia and Putin, about that, because that's been disputed, I believe, since end of World War II. But he has kept the peace for a long time, or at least has tried to, and now he is no longer here.
Yeah, he got assassinated. And they said only 4 people have died in Japan from gunshots in the last year or something.
Yeah, guns are outlawed. From what they're saying, this guy...
He built his own gun.
He built his own shotgun, they're saying? I don't know. And then he shot him in the back, from the back. But Abe, whatever, served as prime minister for a year in 2006 and again from 2012 to 2020. It's around 4 or 5 years, making him the country's longest serving leader in that role. I guess he served in 2006, and then he did 4 years, and then again in 2012. They don't make that clear. But anyway, he resigned in 2020, citing a long-time struggle.
I think he quit in 2012 for health reasons, and he was making some
Well, they're saying he served from 2012 to 2020, and he started in 2006.
Oh, okay. Could be.
So there may have been a 2-year thing. I'm not sure. Or maybe he went...
He took some time off for health reasons. I know that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like getting shot in the back. Jesus.
So, yeah, they're saying it appeared to be a homemade firearm, but the issue that I'm seeing is the CCP's reaction to all this, which is...
Yeah, you said
a bit disturbing. I mean, obviously, China and Japan have not liked each other for many, many centuries.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, this is.
And the guy was what? They're not sure about the motive, but they might have been reacting to some cult that he thought this guy was part of. So I asked the question, what cult were you talking about? Where did this cult theory come from? Could have come from China. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that China was taking part in this assassination attempt. We're not saying that. We don't have proof.
We don't want this to turn into some kind of chicken story, never mind.
But we do have,
it's not a good thing.
This is from Jennifer Zhang, a tweet that she had. CCP promises dead end or bloodbath for Shinzo Abe as he dared to talk nonsense on Taiwan issue. In terms of militarism, the plot was set long ago.
Sensitive.
Unifying Taiwan begins with Senkakus under the banner of fighting Japanese neo-militarism. So there's just an enormous amount of tension right now. I really don't know. I mean, everything keeps building up. I mean, people are saying the reason, China's been looking at how Russia invaded Ukraine. It hasn't gone well for Russia because it's really been a prolonged war. But I mean, Ukraine has pretty much been defeated, but this could just go on forever. But China definitely doesn't want that. If they were to take Taiwan, they want it quick and dirty and not a prolonged war. So, and then now you have this assassination of former long-serving prime minister in Japan. It's
not good.
Difficult situation. But we're coming to the best part.
That area is difficult.
Yeah.
We've covered it extensively on the Canuck and Yankee show back when we were on every week for 8 months, which we'll be back in the fall with more shows. But that particular area, the Strait of Taiwan or whatever they call it, so much shipping and so many different players. You got Indonesia, and Australia's not that far from there either. And Japan, of course, and North Korea. Don't forget about
Yeah, we have all these military alliances: Australia and the United States, the UK. Canada has been taking a back seat, not getting involved. So that actually may be the best option.
We sit in the back, sip the soda, and see where the world takes us. Oh, I sent the link to the Slocan City to you in an email.
All right, great. So, because I'm going to pick that up real quick, and then we're going to move on to Bizarro, which will hopefully lighten things up to finish things out here.
Hey, if you like birds and cats, we got them.
Yeah, we got tiger. We got a good-looking tiger in the Bizarro news.
Leopard, dude. Snow leopard.
It looked like a tiger to me. That was a snow leopard.
That's a snow leopard.
I am going to get this loaded real quick, and let me see what happens here. I just want to make sure. Here we go. So this is 9 hours and 35 minutes long. So I think this is the whole kit and caboodle from the Slocan City Hotel Music and Art Fair.
Oh yeah, it's 9 hours. I told you that's how we streamed, and they went act to act. There's no downtime. They somehow managed to pretty much go from one act stage almost seamlessly into the next act stage, and that's not easy to do.
So there it is,
especially in a location.
It's in the chat. Slocan City Hotel Music. I don't know what it linked YouTube.com, but I think it's good.
If you go to YouTube, for all you folks that just might want to tell your mother or something, I go to YouTube and type in Slocan, SLOCAN, City Hotel in YouTube, and it's the only thing that's there, pretty much.
Now we are going to switch. Sorry, go ahead, finish up.
Long weekend, but it was great. A lot of work. I was doing tech work and playing, but we pulled it off because failure is not an option in the entertainment business.
All right, you ready for it?
Go on.
You've got the woodpecker video is 3 minutes long. Are we going to do the whole thing? We can do the whole thing. You sent woodpecker mistakes woman's hair for nest in viral clip. This is part of the Bizarro News segment.
Play whatever.
I'm going to play until it gets old, I guess.
Yeah.
But it looks disturbing. Woodpecker mistakes woman's hair for nest in viral clip.
It all turned out okay. Oh, we got one more. Did we do the tent city in Vancouver? Yeah, we did that. Okay, cool. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
Did we do the tent city? Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know. I don't think it was in there. I don't have it in the notes. We can do it if you want. It's up to you. It's your call, Canuck.
Well, I think we should because I did have the underground footage from the park, and this is the total degradation of one of the greatest cities in the world. Literally.
Vancouver has a new tent city. I've got an email here. It's from Global News.
Yeah, Global News, Vancouver, Hastings Street, tent city.
All right, I'm going
to... It's disturbing.
All right, I've got it here.
I love that city, man. I've been coming and going from that friggin' city since 1970. And I've lived there. I've worked there. I got friends there. And now, one of the main thoroughfares in Vancouver is no longer accessible to anybody normal to walk down.
So here it is. I'm going to do the video. This is from globalnews.ca. Vancouver has a new tent city. This time it's in the street, not a park. This is a lot of what, like underpasses in Los Angeles and a lot of areas in Los Angeles. They're building these massive tent cities.
Well, that's the thing. But this is on the street. This is on a major commercial thoroughfare and commercial district that used to be so vibrant. Big department stores, all kinds of good.
Yeah, similar stuff has happened in LA and other cities.
Yeah,
they're just building the. It's crazy.
And the business people. Well, you'll see the clip. This guy's got a boutique. No customer's going to get into his friggin' boutique through that Molostrom.
So I'm going to get this loaded up. It's 2 minutes, and we'll do the whole thing.
Worth it.
Drive down the downtown east side these days, chances are you'll notice something different.
I think there are more tents.
Many more tents, and there's a reason for that.
Might even be in protest to the street sweeps.
Vancouver police used to accompany the city of Vancouver's sanitation workers in street sweeps, cleaning and clearing sidewalks. But homeless advocates say a lot more than trash would get cleared out.
I've personally seen them take tents that are fully up and erect, with everybody's stuff in it and just thrown it into dumpsters.
But on July 1st, Vancouver police said no more. We have long argued that this is an inappropriate use of police resources and is not a core policing service. Since then, a noticeable difference: large structures made out of pallets and tarps, some using tents as makeshift stores to sell goods, and propane stoves for heat and cooking. It's concerning for local businesses.
We come in, there's fires that are lit in our doorway. It's not always to keep warm either. This is summertime, so fire is definitely an issue.
But homeless advocates say people here are left with little choice. A fear of safety in single-room occupancy housing, leaving many to take their chances out on the streets.
Some people actually are truly homeless and living on the street, while others, they come here by day or by night and go back home later.
Now a renewed call for more affordable housing to provide these residents of Vancouver's newest burgeoning tent city a safe home.
We're actually seeing a rapid deterioration of the SRO stock, a loss. They're being renovated and folks are being kicked out, and we have no answer as a city, so we need some help from the senior government.
Community members are meeting next week to discuss limiting the number of tents to allow for a clear pathway for pedestrians, while the city says sanitation workers will continue their street sweeps without the help of police. Kamal Karamali, Global News.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
It really need to. I mean, I was watching.
It's going to get way worse.
Yeah, I was watching. Go ahead.
All right, at the end of January next year, hard drugs will be legal in that neighborhood. They also have free drugs in that neighborhood. We're going to get every junkie in Canada living on Hastings Street. They're safe injection sites. They give them free drugs. And it's now going to be legal to have them and to use them in that neighborhood at the end of January of next year.
Everything. Cocaine, heroin, all kinds of
whatever you want.
All opioids, everything.
Matter.
Every hardcore drug?
Everything.
That's,
anything, whatever. There's no law.
It's going to be a mess.
There's no law. There's no law in Vancouver in the downtown east side. They've given up. The mail service does not deliver mail to a number of addresses in the downtown
There
east side
are programs, I'm not sure. I was checking out a Jimmy Dore episode, and I can't remember where it was, but, you know, there are programs, obviously not going to work 100% for every homeless person, but if they're assisted and they're given a residency and given help, and if you take them off the street and you don't allow them to, you know, set up camp on a street like that where it's extremely dangerous at any time of day, anybody can get attacked there. You know, it's like if they have a program and you get them off the street and you try it again.
Anything. And the thing is, those people that have adopted the street as their lifestyle, well, they're just going to have to get over it. And the criminals down there are just going to have to go to jail. Because half those people probably don't want to be there, but the other half might. But we covered it on an earlier show, and I ran across it, but not a government-funded experiment, but they gave, like, I don't know, 10 or 20 people $5,000 cash. Just the homeless, broke people. And waited to see what happened. And only like 10% misused it. The others, in many cases, went on to clean up their act, get a job. $5,000.
Yeah, but they need a good community. They need if they stay in the same crowd with the same friends and all that, then it's just they go right back to using it or whatever.
It feeds itself. Those homeless people. Many of those homeless people have that, this is our community, we're proud of it, don't mess with us, we got the right to be here mentality. And that is endemic, and that's not going to go away. But Vancouver had this situation developing in the early 70s, and they didn't do anything. And the 80s, they didn't do anything. The 90s, they didn't do anything. The early 2000s, they didn't do anything. The next bunch of 2000s, they haven't done anything. You know, and there's all these people that are like socially conscious, or we're doing the right thing, and they're advocating for this lifestyle. Okay, that's editorializing, but that is my biggest, that's my big city, you know, and it's going down the tubes completely.
Well, I mean, if the government's going to legalize hardcore drugs like that, then they're gonna you can't at the same time allow people to use those drugs on the street like that.
Oh no, it's okay.
They have to be.
No, it's going to be okay. No, they said that's okay. No, I'm serious. It's okay. And not only if you don't want to do it on the street because it's all rainy and cold, they'll give you a nice, safe place to go in and shoot your dope. You know, so. Talk about
it's kind of crazy. It just seems like the politicians, they just want to have this ecosystem where they can, you know what I mean?
I don't know what, but a lot of it's come from this social activism thing. I think what do they call it, woke or something? But you know, and I'm not saying people shouldn't be socially active, but
well, it's definitely this kind of thing is definitely
it's
happening.
We played that clip. Remember?
Yeah.
We played that clip on the show of that guy that was getting drugs and literally giving them to the people in the name of helping the people out. And he was getting hard drugs and distributing them for free. And you see, that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. But like I say, the bigger concern, I think, for Vancouver and the residents that live there, I can't see why every junkie in Canada, wouldn't move to Vancouver. I mean, the climate's the best in Canada.
Yeah.
You get dope. It's legal. There's lots of real
there's
rich
many
houses.
similarities to San Francisco, and in San Francisco
Many.
they're slowly, the residents in San Francisco are slowly starting to wake up and getting tired of it. I don't know why it's taken this long, but who knows? I don't know if the same is going to happen in Vancouver over time. I mean, people, at least the residents, the people that are paying taxes.
Well, I think the problem is it goes to the. I don't know. It's somewhat uniquely Canadian, just because there aren't that many levels of government. So it's really only three: municipal, provincial, and federal. So they can bring in these policies, and the premier of Alberta, who's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and nevertheless, she said, "This is the stupidest thing I've heard of, the legalization of these dope." And they call it an experiment. It's going to only last for 2 years. So then what are they going to do? Oh, I guess this experiment didn't really work, But anyway, if you're into watching, you ever watch the movie Soylent Green? Like, if you want to see real-time Soylent Green, just visit Vancouver and you can walk down that street. Or original Road Warrior. All right, think of that. Never mind.
All right, so we're going to do Bizarro, baby.
Let's get on with it. Please.
I've got this woodpecker over here.
Bring on the birds.
And I'm just going to bang into it. It's 3 minutes, 40 seconds, but a woodpecker mistook this woman's hair for a nest. It is Bizarro news time. I hope that everyone enjoys it as much as I will. Here we go.
I love Bizarro.
If you've ever seen a woodpecker peck, then you might imagine Brittany Bronson was in a peck of trouble. When she ended up with a woodpecker in her hair.
Did you scream?
No, I was just like, okay, so this just happened.
The baby woodpecker had slammed into a glass window at Brittany's North Carolina home, so she went to investigate.
He's kind of looking at me like this, and then he jumps on my head.
She headed around to the front door to get her brother.
Colton! Can you come help me?
Colton to the rescue.
What is going on? Why is that thing on your head?
As if it were a hat. I would be freaked out that the woodpecker would start pecking.
Oh, I was like this, so I was trying to, cover my eyes and my face.
Brittany's brother methodically started to untangle the bird's feet from Brittany's hair. How are you so calm? TikTok viewers marveled. In moments, her brother, an engineer, freed the woodpecker and gently set it down. Folks online naturally called it Woody. Next morning, it hopped towards Brittany as if she were Mom. Brittany put it in a cat carrier and took the bird to Holly's Nest Animal Rescue. It's too young to feed itself, and since the parents seem to have disappeared, the woodpecker will be rehabbed here.
My mom used to make the joke when I was a kid, you need to go brush your hair, it looks like a bird's nest.
And since she was wearing it up...
Well, that does look like a nest.
Yeah.
And if the bird couldn't get to the nest came to the bird. Genimos, CNN.
That was weird.
I know.
I have to admit, that was pretty weird. So the bird, it was a little bird then, like whatever you call little birds. And then it was following her around? Dude, that's another thing that seems really weird.
Oh, I'm on a Facebook group called Birds Aren't Real. And, they found that interesting. Birds apparently feds or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, we are moving on to the big cat. So you're saying this is a snow leopard, man. All right. So when I first looked at it, I thought it was a tiger, but yeah, it's a snow leopard.
Yeah, and they're so really elusive. The film crew, or the people, the way they got these pictures are amazing. And I've seen if you go to YouTube and type in snow leopard, I don't know if you can find it, but these guys actually tracked down one and got video of it, and it's almost impossible. I mean, they live way up there, man.
Yeah, we'll see for a future stream. We find if we find some good footage, we'll show it off. So this is from.
I think we should adopt the snow leopard as our official animal.
Yeah, we might as well before they go extinct. This is from petapixel.com.
They're relatively safe because they're in the middle of almost.
Well, there can't be that many left, though.
The population is reasonably stable, from what I understand, because they're way in the high Himalaya mountains. So hopefully, climate change doesn't get rid of them. But I don't know. Maybe I'd looked into that. Don't scare me. I just
how many snow leopards are left?
Oh, there's only a few hundred.
All right, so how many snow leopards are left in the wild? There are an estimated 4,000 to 7,000 around there. Snow leopards in the wild.
That's decent. Hopefully.
Wildlife photographer Sasha Fonseca recently posted an incredible picture of a snow leopard, the world's most elusive big cat, using a DSLR camera trap in Ladakh, India. Aneska spoke to Petapixel to explain how she captured the stunning image and how this photography comes from a passion to conserve these ultra-rare wild creatures. The leopard almost looks like it knows that it's being captured in a photo. Snow leopards are also
it's looking at the camera because the camera doesn't make any sense. I mean, you've never seen that camera before, so it's like.
He knows something's going on.
Yeah.
Snow leopards, also referred to as ghosts of the mountains in the local language, are notoriously difficult to spot and photograph because of the legendary ability to blend in with their surroundings. And this reminds me of the mountain lions here in the United States.
A similar species.
I was reading of how there was a mountain lion that went from, I believe, somewhere in Montana or Dakotas, all the way to Greenwich, Connecticut.
Really?
And it was being tracked. Yeah, I was just taking a look at that story a month or two ago.
Wow.
And then they
Marco Polo
they brought it back to the west, out west again, because it's not going to do well in Greenwich, Connecticut.
No. Why? Why did he go to Greenwich?
He probably wanted money, and it's.
Oh, he's going to panhandle?
Right? I mean, that's probably the wealthiest residential neighborhood area in the country. It's up there. Probably
maybe
California's area.
Hey, check it out.
Only.
Maybe Yankee maybe heard there was a lot of fat cats there.
Yeah, he was looking for a fat cat in Greenwich.
Yeah, right.
In Greenwich, Connecticut. There's a lot of fat cats in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
The challenge is to photograph this rare and hard to find big cats in their natural environment. By sharing their beauty with the world, I hope to raise awareness about their existence and the importance to protect their habitats. There is an Instagram one, but it's not loading because Instagram probably wants me to be logged in. I don't really use Instagram that much. I'm not going there.
Don't need them. Snow leopards don't need Instagram.
Yeah, it's definitely. Look at that. Well, it's kind of irritating. I really hate. Oh, it's one more reason to hate Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, you can't see the images on Instagram unless you're logged in. It's like, come on. I got to get into the metaverse. I got to start hacking the metaverse, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
But no, this is I really like this photo where it has some type of sense that it's being captured.
Yeah, isn't that?
It's pretty
really,
pretty amazing.
Got that look like WTF, you know.
Yeah.
Or you looking at me? Hey, you looking at me?
All right, so drive-through incident. This is going to be the last Bizarro, and it's almost 5:30. We've been raging on and on, but we had a great audience today. We had Anywhere in the chat and Sour D, and
nice to be back.
There were a lot of people hanging out. And if you're in the chat and you haven't said anything, wave or do something. Put a weird animated GIF, sticky, whatever you want, sticker.
It's looking like
the Canuck gets lonely.
Month,
I don't get lonely, but Canuck gets lonely. So do something in the chat. Go ahead, Canuck.
I got good news. Next month I got like 10 or 12 gigs this month, and it ends with the Caslo Jazz Festival for me playing. But next month looks pretty peaceful. I'm going to be homebound for a bit, so we'll probably be streaming a bunch next month. And I really want to give it up to Anyword and Sour D.
And we have Maria in the chat. Gave me an animated GIF, a little animated GIF sticker. Yeah, so thank you for that. That's awesome.
I'm getting all emotional.
Fireworks and everything, just in time for the July 4th festivities that just passed.
That already happened.
It's very nice. I know. I'm just saying it's 6 days past.
Thematical.
6 days past. I mean, July 4th is past, but it's
every day. Every day should be Independence Day.
Yeah, why not?
Be independent or be a sheep.
So we are going to finish it up with Newsweek.com. Man's revenge on customer honking in drive-through line delights internet.
Now, I'm really quite surprised that this particular establishment management allowed this to happen. And I'm pretty sure it's out of Canada, because in the States, I think somebody would have gotten shot. But if it's out of the States, they're lucky, because there's been gunfire at drive-ins. Anyway.
I can't tell if this is an ad or the video.
I think that's an ad. That's got to be an ad.
Holy shit, that's loud. Sorry. Man's revenge. I'm not sure if this has a video, so I'm just going to do the article.
I think
I got faked out by this video.
No, I hate it when they do that.
Man's revenge on customer honking in drive-through line delights internet.
Yeah, there's no video.
A man's petty revenge on the customer behind him at a Steak and Shake drive-thru has won him rousing applause online. The proportion of Americans who use drive-thrus has spiked since COVID-19 hit the U.S. when many restaurants closed. According to 2021 survey by mobile marketing company Blue Dot, 74% of U.S. consumers have used a drive-thru since the start of the pandemic, up 43% from April 2020. In a video with 7.4 million views, maybe it's down here somewhere, TikTok user Nicole Kristen captured her husband Kyle's reaction to a customer honking behind them at the Steak and Shake drive-thru line. These people back here behind me are being a-holes, Kyle said to her, or rather assholes. I'm not sure what they're trying to communicate here. I'm going to buy their meal and take it. Don't do that, the woman videoing from the passenger seat says, but he does it. Listen, the cashier then opened the window and confirmed his order from the drive-through window. And whatever they have to, I'm going to go ahead and buy it and take it, he told her. Behind you, okay, said the cashier, not seemingly fully understanding at first because they keep honking the horn. A man's petty... There's the image. A man's petty revenge on the customer behind him at a Steak and Shake has won him rousing applause online. Now, I don't know if I can get the video because something nefarious is happening. What I can try to do, and I'm not sure if...
what happened was they actually did it, and they asked the manager, and he signed off on it. So the guy bought the order, the car behind him, and the car or truck behind him or whatever it was gets there and there's no order, and he's got to go all the way back around through the drive-thru.
I've got the video in Safari. Give me a second here.
This is dangerous. Really, really dangerous.
We are gonna try to switch to Safari and see what happens. All right, here's the video.
Weird, man.
All right, I'm gonna hit it.
It's your power.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have to start over because I got a layer issue here. I've got to get rid of snooze tube, and now here we go. You should be able to see Safari video and
buy their meal and take it.
Don't do that.
Okay, you have the 5 shakes? Yeah, and whatever they have too. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it and take it. Behind you? Yeah. Okay.
What do you mean buy it and take it? No, you're not.
Keep honking the horn? Yeah, that's why I want to buy it and I want to take it with me. Oh. Yeah, so they can go back around.
Come on, Kyle.
Can I buy their order since they're being assholes and take it with me? Yeah, they were. Is that cool?
Yeah, I don't care. I'll kick them out of the line.
No, that's cool. Thank you.
so the person in the car ahead of this guy, they were creating issues, and then he bought their order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they let him do it. And then he drove away with the guy's order. And so the guy gets to the window, and they don't talk about what happened then.
Oh, so
but they somehow said,
yeah.
Maybe they said, "Oh, we lost your order. You're going to have to go around, and we'll redo your order. We lost your order." That's what they must have said.
Right.
And then the guy gets home and finds out that the other guy bought his meal.
Nice.
To make him mad because the guy behind him apparently was being a total a-hole. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know,
well,
there's always something crazy happening in drive-thrus, especially in the U.S. So.
Well, we didn't cover it. We might in the future, but apparently somebody died because of mayonnaise on their sandwich at a fast food restaurant. But tune in again next month because we'll probably be streaming next month. Like I said, we'll bring the Canuck and the Yankee show back at least once or twice.
Yeah.
And with any luck in the fall, we'll be streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot I'm putting together. I'm going to, hopefully, I should have variantnews.live fully working on most platforms. And then also the Blackmagic design. I've got that buried somewhere back here. And I'm going to get that set up so we can be more presentable. We really need to, we need to step up our game, right? So we got to try at least.
It's time. Hey, man, when you're playing in the big leagues, you got to put on the big shoes.
Maria says every day is Independence Day, so she agrees with the Canuck.
Yeah.
And thank you, Maria, for your support. Appreciate that. Hanging out.
Totally.
So yeah,
and
we'll
I
have
just want to,
something in another month.
And I want to give it up to all you folks that are watching this on YouTube after the fact. Please subscribe to our channel, and we want to thank Joey Google for letting us use his YouTube thing.
We want to thank Joey Bag of Donuts Google on Snooze too for letting us stream this worldwide on the most massive platform the world has ever known.
Bring you snow leopards, woodpeckers, police malfeasance. Oh man. It's like going to a Chinese buffet.
Don't give us any copyright strikes, Snooze Tube, We're just trying to get by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have something in another month, and the Canuck is jamming out in the Nelson area, right? Tonight.
Yeah, I'm playing tonight.
Soon.
At Library Lounge.
Like 3 hours or something?
Yeah, exactly. 3 hours and 25 minutes. I'll be there Thursday. I'm also at the Torchlight Brewery Wednesday. Couple of the gigs this month, and then wrapping it up with the Castle Jazz Etc. Festival, which is about, I think, 6,000 people in the Bay, Castle Bay, a little super small town. So that's a big weekend here in the Kootenays, one of the bigger jazz festivals in Canada, on the A list. So I'm really privileged and pleased to be getting to perform there, and I get to hang out all weekend. Hang out in the artist lounge, man.
Nice.
How's my hair? I'm opening Sunday, which is really good slot because by Sunday I'm just doing a solo act. So opening Sunday, there's people all kind of ready for the last day, and they've heard lots of music. So I like the slot. And also, if I played Friday, I'd have to sit around the whole weekend going, yeah, well, I played Friday. You know, at least this way I can sit around and look cool.
No doubt.
That's the most, listen, all you kids out there in the entertainment business, the most important thing to do is when you're not on stage is to look cool. All right? I mean, there's a lot of ways to look cool. You figure out yours. And be independent. There you go.
Indeed. I'm trying to see if there's a dead pixel on my screen or not, but there's something weird. I'll have to figure that out.
Maybe it's that fly that flew on Joe Biden's head.
Could be, yeah, it could be a fly. I don't know, some kind of weird screen anomaly. Anyway, that's a good way to end the stream. Thanks everybody once again, Maria, Sour D, anywhere, everybody in the chat, everybody for hanging out here on a Sunday afternoon or what have you, at least for us here in the eastern seaboard of the United States. And
here.
And yeah, and for, people all the way out there on the west coast of the United States and British Columbia and all that.
That guy that watches us from Russia. Hey, if that guy from Russia's watching, dude, hang in there.
Yeah, now that guy from Russia, talk to me, all right? DM me. We'll talk.
Right on.
All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you on the next stream, if all goes well.
Yep.
Take care.
Probably in about 3 weeks.
Later.
My message is that we'll be watching you.